So let's find a comfortable seat, adding a blanket or cushion underneath your hips for a few, or to help you feel more comfortable sitting for a few minutes. And we'll begin rubbing the palms of our hands together, bringing focus and energy into the palms. And take the fingertips and gently brush them across the forehead, temples, and cheeks, brushing away any worries or expectations. Bring the fingertips to your eyes, palms to your cheeks, turning your attention inward. And take a couple of deep cleansing breaths. When you're ready, you can float your hands down, either keeping your eyes closed or gazing softly downward. Extend your spine up tall, shoulders back and down. Lift your heart with each inhaling breath. Sitting bones sinking toward the earth with each exhale. We'll tune in with 3 ohms. Feel free to join in or just absorb the vibrations. Take another deep breath in. Take a moment to absorb the vibrations of the mantra as it connects us all as one. Allow yourself to settle here this Saturday morning and set an intention for your practice, something you'd like to nurture or cultivate within yourself. Bringing your awareness to your breath. Allow each inhale to bring you here, to this room, to this moment. Allow each exhale to release anything not needed for your practice today. With your next inhaling breath, allow the belly to soften and expand. And as you exhale, draw the belly toward the back. Follow your body's rhythm, expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. With your next inhaling breath, expand the belly and open the ribs, reaching them out to the sides. And as you exhale, contract the belly and relax the ribs. Follow your body's rhythm, expanding and opening, contracting and relaxing. With your next inhaling breath, expand the belly, open the ribs, and lift the chest, creating space for your heart. And as you exhale, contract, relax, and lower. Continue this full deep breath, expanding your lungs in all directions with each inhale. Completely releasing the breath with each exhale. Continue this full deep breathing as we shift into alternate nostril breath, Nadi Shodhana, bringing the pointer and middle finger of the right hand between the eyebrows, ring finger and thumb on either side of the nose. Taking a full breath in and out, gently closing the right nostril, inhale through the left, switch and exhale through the right. Inhale right, switch and exhale left. That's one full round. Inhale left, switch and exhale right. Inhale right, switch and exhale left. Continue following this pattern, following your body's rhythm. Balancing the left and the right sides of the body and the brain. Balancing heat and cold. And helping us to manage these swings of temperature that spring brings. Do one more full round. When you reach the end of the exhale on the left side, you can gently float your hand down and return to your natural breath. Noticing any changes you feel in your mind or body, remembering that our breath is always with us to help find those moments of peace and calm. Bringing your awareness to your right hand, allowing the tips of the thumb and pointer finger to come together. Bringing those fingertips to your heart center. Turning your attention deeper inward toward your heart. Looking within for your inner light and your inner joy. As you find that connection with the light within you, allow its warm glow to flow on the breath throughout your entire body. As you find that connection with your inner joy, allow it to radiate up onto your face in a smile. And breathe it out into the space around you. As we continue our practice, allow your light and joy to flow through each breath and movement, honoring all that you are in each moment. When you're ready, you can float your hand down, gently open your eyes. If you'd like to switch your legs or change positions, please feel free to do that. And with your next inhaling breath, let's scrunch our shoulders up by our ears. And exhale, press the shoulders back and down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, lift and squeeze. Exhale, back and down. We'll bring the hands in front of the chest, palms facing down, tucking the shoulder blades, lifting the heart, strengthening the muscles around the scapula, noticing if one side feels a little weaker than the other, and seeing if you can engage those muscles a little more, helping them fire. And let's press the elbows back toward each other, lifting the heart, gently squeezing the center of the shoulder blades toward each other, wringing out any tension. And opening the arms wide, turning the palms up, tucking the shoulder blades, drawing the lower corners, excuse me, of the shoulder blades toward each other. Keeping the heart lifted. And if it feels okay, flexing the wrists, pressing through the palms. Breathing into the heart. Then let's bring our arms in front, crossing the right over the left, bending at the elbows, hands back to back, or left hand around the right wrist. Elbows up to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, gently squeezing the arms together. You can also place the hands on the shoulders if this is not comfortable. Pressing the elbows forward as you breathe into the upper back. And as it feels okay, you can begin to lower and lift the elbows. And again, if it feels okay, with your next inhale, lift the elbows a little higher, gently arching. And as you exhale, round the spine, letting the weight of the arms open up through the upper back. Neck is soft. And with your next inhale, lift up tall and unwrap the arms, opening wide, pressing through the palms. And then bringing the arms in front, left over the right, bending at the elbows, hands back to back, right hand around the left wrist or hands at the shoulders. Elbows up to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders away from the ears. Press the elbows forward, gently squeezing the arms together as you breathe into the back of the upper back. As it feels okay, you can begin lowering and lifting the elbows. And with your next inhale, lift the elbows up a little higher, gently arching if that feels okay. Exhale, rounding, letting the weight of the arms open the upper back a little more, being careful of your low back. And with your next inhale, lifting up and unwrapping the arms. Let's tuck those shoulders and rotate the palms up. And then keeping the shoulders tucked, rotate forward. And follow your breath. Now let's make some circles with the wrists. You can have the palms open or in fists. And we'll reverse those circles. And we'll bring the hands to the heart, interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms out in front. Roll the shoulders forward, round the spine, drop the chin. With your next inhale, lift the palms up over the head, gently arching. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift. And this time, as you exhale, leave the palms up and let the chin drop toward the chest. Softening the elbows, roll the shoulder blades back toward each other, squeezing the upper corners of the shoulder blades toward each other. Bringing out tension through the trapezius muscle, across the shoulders and into the neck. As it feels okay, you can press the palms up a little higher. And if it feels okay, you can release the back of the neck a little more. And with the next inhale, lift the chin. And as you exhale, float the hands down. We'll bring the left hand to the right knee, right hand behind the right hip. Face forward, deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently twist toward the right. Head comes around last. Inhale, lifting the heart. Exhale, gently twisting. Keeping the left hand on the knee with your right arm, lifting it up tall. And as you exhale, reach across the body. Right hip roots down toward the mat. Lift the heart and reach through the fingertips. Breathing into the right side of the body. And with your next inhale, lift up tall, and exhale, come back to the center. We'll take a breath in and out. And then right hand to the left knee, left hand behind the left hip. Face forward, deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently twist toward the left. Head comes around last. Lifting the heart with your inhale, gently twisting through the exhale. Hold and breathe. Finding that edge between flexibility and inflexibility. And with your next inhale, lifting your left arm up tall. And as you exhale, reaching across the body. Left hip drops toward the mat, lift the heart, reach through the fingertips. And with your next inhale, lift up tall. And as you exhale, come back to the center. Let's place the hands on the knees and let's make some big circles with our torso. Reaching the ribs out in all directions. And the next time you're in the center, you can switch directions. And then we'll come back to the center. Let's extend the legs out in front of us. If you'd like to keep the blanket under your hips for the forward fold, please go ahead and do that. We'll flex our feet, extending those legs out, spine tall, shoulders are back and down. Hands can rest on the thighs or be on the floor. Thinking about drawing the toes toward the body, keeping the knees slightly bent, making sure we don't hyperextend them. And you can stay here, or if it feels okay, engage the quadriceps by drawing the kneecaps up a little bit more and see if you can lift the feet to the heels gently off of the floor, again, without hyperextending the knees. Finding that balance. And you can work with one leg and then the other if working with both is not comfortable at the moment. Sometimes that helps us access those muscles a little more. I still remember when I was first learning yoga, when people would or teachers would tell me to engage a particular muscle in my leg, I would be like, it's just a leg. I don't know how to do that. So it really takes a lot of tuning into our bodies, and it's amazing the shifts we can make as we become more in touch with our bodies. And we'll release those legs. Inhale the arms up over the head. And as you exhale, fold forward. Hands on the legs, floor, or feet. Inhale, lengthening the spine. Soften those knees as you need to. And as you exhale, let the ribs come toward the thighs. Lengthen with the inhale. Soften with the exhale. Finding that edge of tightness or tension. Stopping there. Softening around it. Letting go. Seeing what happens. Breathing into the back of the legs and the low back. Honoring your body where it is in this moment. One more breath. And with your next inhale, we'll gently lift up tall. We'll bring the hands behind the hips, fingertips facing toward the hips. You can work with inclined plane or reverse table. So for inclined plane, feet together, lifting the hips here, legs extended. Or bend the knees, place the feet hip width apart, and lift the hips here into reverse table. Whichever one feels right for you today. So we're going to roll our shoulders back, soften the elbows, and with your next inhale, pressing into the feet, lift the hips up high. Exhale, lower and hover if that feels okay. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower and hover, engaging those triceps and the upper arms. Inhale, lift. This time hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down, keeping the elbows slightly bent if that feels okay. Lifting the hips high. Head extends out from the spine or draw the chin toward the chest. Just try not to drop the head back onto the shoulders. And then we'll gently lower back down and shake out those wrists. Let's gently round the spine, engaging the belly muscles, rolling the back onto the mat. And having our legs slightly bent, let's walk the feet out to the edges of the mat. And we're going to gently windshield wiper our knees back and forth. Just kind of letting them gently flop from side to side, opening those hips a little more. The next time you're on the right, you can just let the legs rest there for a moment, seeing where you're holding on, maybe in the hips that you can let go. And if it feels okay, and you could pick up that right foot, place it on the outside of the left knee for a little extra stretch down the outside of the thigh. But don't do it if it doesn't feel right for you today. Breathing into the belly. Gently letting go of that tension or tightness. And we'll remove that right foot if it's on the knee and come back to the center. And gently flop the knees to the left. Again, resting here for a moment. And if it feels okay, you could lift that left foot or ankle and rest it on the right knee to add a little extra stretch if that feels okay. Removing the left ankle, we'll come back to the center. Let's bring the knees up over the torso, gently hugging them in to the belly. Apanasana, take a couple of breaths deep into the belly. You can make some small circles with your low back if that feels good, or rock a little from side to side. And let's extend the left leg. Right hand or left hand on the right knee, right arm falls out to the side, palm facing down or bending at the elbow. And as you exhale, gently twist over the left side of the body, vision toward the right arm, as far as feels okay for your neck. Release the muscles around the hip. Allow the spine to sink into the twist. With your next inhale, come back to the center, extending the leg up toward the sky, taking hold behind the hamstrings, calf, or ankle. As you exhale, toes reach toward the ceiling. Inhale, flexing, pressing through the heel. Follow your breath, releasing the front and the back of the leg. Now begin to make slow, gentle circles with the ankle, stretching your foot as far as it can go in each direction. And reverse the circles. Reaching through the heel. Drop the sitting bones down toward the mat, gently arching the low back for a moment. And then tucking the pelvis, pressing the low back into the mat, drawing the leg toward the torso just as far as feels okay as you reach through the heel. Stay here, or if it feels okay with your exhale, lift the head and chest toward the leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down, listening to your body. You can stay here or add a little extra challenge by flexing the left foot and lifting the leg gently off the floor. And from either position, you can continue to hold the leg or release the arms. We'll lower the left leg with your next inhale, lowering the head and chest. And as you exhale, slowly lower the right leg. Once you reach the floor, take a deep breath in and out. Let's bend the left leg, floating the hands to the knee, drawing it in toward the chest. Right hand stays on the knee, left arm falls out to the side, palm facing down. And as you exhale, gently twist over the right side of the body. Vision toward the left arm as much as feels okay for your neck. Release the muscles around the hip, easing the spine into the twist. And with your next inhale, come back to the center, extending your leg up toward the sky, taking a hold behind the hamstrings, calf, or ankle. As you exhale, toes reach toward the ceiling. Inhale, flexing, reaching through the heel. Follow your breath, releasing the front and the back of the leg. Now begin to make slow, gentle circles with your ankle, stretching your foot as far as it can go in each direction. And reversing the circles. Reaching through the heel. Gently arch the low back, letting the sitting bones drop down toward the floor. And now tucking the pelvis, pressing the back into the mat, drawing the leg toward the torso just as far as feels okay. Stay here, drawing those belly muscles down, or if it feels okay with your next exhaling breath, Lift the head and chest toward the leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Hold and breathe if that feels okay, or continue coming up and down. Belly muscles are strong, neck is nice and long, reaching through the heel. If you'd like, you can flex the right foot, lifting it off of the floor gently. And again, if it feels okay, you could release the hands. Lower the right leg. Inhale, lower the head and chest. And as you exhale, slowly lower the left leg. Once you reach the floor, take a deep breath in and out. Let's bring the knees over the torso once again, lengthening through the neck. This time, let's spread the knees wide. You can either take hold underneath the knees or reach the arms between the legs, taking hold of the arches of the feet. From either position, bringing the soles of the feet to face the ceiling. Lengthening through the neck. Low back sinks toward the mat. Easing the knees outside of the ribs, just as far as feels okay. Consciously softening around the hips. Relax the muscles of the face as you surrender into Ananda Balasana, happy baby pose. One more breath, letting go anywhere you can. And we'll bring the feet down, knees back together. From here, you can either roll to your right side, pressing up with your hands, or slip the hands behind the knees. Take your feet over your head and gently rock up. Okay, let's come forward onto our hands and knees. We'll bring our hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And let's do a little bit of sunbird. If this is not comfortable for your wrists, and you don't have to do the push-up part of the pose. So you just work with the legs and hips. So with your next, or soften the elbows so the inner elbows are facing each other. Lengthen the spine and tuck the shoulder blades. Belly is nice and strong. Take a breath in and out. With your next inhaling breath, let's reach the right leg out behind us. And either stay here with the exhale, or if it feels okay, tuck the elbows and lower the chest toward the mat. Inhale, lifting the chest. Exhale, rounding the spine, drawing the knee in toward the chest. Inhale, reach with the leg. Exhale, lower the chest. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Do 2 more rounds on this leg, following your breath. Remembering that if you don't want to do the push-up part, you can stay there and hold. And then we'll lower the knee back down. You can rock your hips from side to side, shake out your wrists a little if that is needed. Take a couple of breaths. Then when you're ready, softening those elbows, tucking the shoulder blades, head extended out. We'll inhale, reaching back with the left leg. Exhale, tuck the elbows, lower the chest. Inhale, lengthen the arms. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. Again, 2 more times following your breath. Doing just as much of the sequence feels okay. And then we'll lower the knee down. Let's sit the hips back to the heels and we'll extend the arms out. Just sitting back as far as feels okay for your knees. We're going to work with Morning Glory today. Little nod to the May Day flowers. So with your next inhaling breath, imagine drawing the sun's warmth into your body. And as you exhale, drop your roots into the earth. Then inhaling the warmth of the sun. Exhale, dropping your roots into the earth. With your next inhale, we'll roll the spine up, lifting up onto the knees, opening wide toward the sun. Exhale, rounding back into child's pose or reclined puppy. Follow your breath, rolling the spine, opening up like a flower. Exhale, rounding. Follow your breath, imagining you're whatever flower you would like to be today. You could be the morning glory. You could be a little crocus or a tulip or whatever you would like. Let's do one more. And then rest in child's pose or reclined puppy for a moment. Gently lifting your head, we'll shift back onto our hands and knees, walking our hands a little bit away from our shoulders. We'll tuck the toes under and press the hips up and back into downward dog. Softening those knees, pressing back through the hips, lengthening through the back. Chin is gently lifted away from the chest as the head drops between the arms. And if it feels okay, you can roll your shoulder blades back toward each other. If it feels okay, you can begin dropping the heels toward the mat, lengthening the back of the legs. Again, being careful not to hyperextend the knees or lock them. Rooting into the hands and feet, lifting high through the hips. With your next inhale, let's reach the right leg up behind us. Really pressing through that heel, rooting through the ball of the left foot, rooting through the hands. Whoops! My foot slipped. I guess I wasn't rooted. Too much lotion on my feet, probably. And then when you're ready, you can bend your knee, drawing it in toward the chest, and step that right foot forward. Let's bring the back knee down and use our hands if that's necessary to bring that right leg forward into a lunge. So pressing the right foot into the mat. Hands can be on the mat or blocks or up on the knee. We'll press the right hip back and draw the left hip forward so the hips are square with the front of the mat. And let's release the front of the left hip by dropping down a little bit more. Stay here, or if it feels okay, you can add the arms, either hands at the heart, elbows out to cactus, or arms over the head. Doing what feels right for your shoulders and body today. And again, if it feels okay, you can add a gentle arch from any arm position. Releasing the front of that left hip, pressing back through the right hip. And we'll float the hands down. Let's place the left hand on the mat or a block, right hand on the knee, turning the torso to face the thigh. Lengthen through the spine. Stay here, or if it feels okay, sweep the arm back, gently twisting. And we'll float the right hand down. We're going to place it on the inside of the right foot, pressing the shoulder and knee against each other. If it feels okay, you could sweep the left arm out, opening here. And we'll float the hand down. Let's gently rock the left hip. Nope, that's the right hip back. Walking our hands back toward the torso. Lengthen through the spine as you press back through the hip. If it feels okay, you could lift the toes. Feeling that stretch go down through the calf. We'll bring the foot back to the mat. Place the hands on either side. Tuck the back toes under and step back into downward dog. Soften those knees, pressing through the hips. Floating the heels down as that feels okay. Noticing any difference between the right and the left hip. And with your next inhale, reach the left leg up behind you, rooting through that right foot. Left heel reaches toward the sky. And then gently stepping forward with that left foot. You can bring the right knee down, help walk that foot a little further forward so the knee is stacked over the ankle. Hands can be on the mat or on the knee. Right hip presses forward this time, left hip presses back, squaring with the front of the mat. And we'll release through the front of the right hip, dropping the hip straight down. You can keep the hands here on the knee, bring the hands to the heart, or elbows out to cactus, or if it feels okay for your shoulders, arms over the head. Keeping those shoulder blades drawn down the back, softening through the front of the right hip. And if it feels okay, adding a gentle arch from whatever arm position you're in. And we'll float the hands down, placing the right hand on the floor or block, left hand on the left knee, turning the torso to face the thigh, lengthening through the spine. Stay here, or if it feels okay, sweep that left arm up, rotating through the ribs. And floating the left hand down, we'll place it on the inside of the left foot, pressing the left shoulder and knee against each other. If it feels okay, sweeping that right arm up. And floating the hand down, rocking that right hip back, lengthening through the spine. Oops, sorry, keep the foot on the floor first as you reach through the heel. And then lifting the toes up, stretching down through the calf. Pressing that hip back, lengthening the spine. Then let's come on to the left foot. And we'll tuck the right foot under and step forward with that right foot. Coming into Uttanasana, forward bend. Having the the feet about hip width apart. We'll soften the knees and let the ribs come toward the thighs as you let the back of the neck release. Hands can be on the floor, on the legs, or on blocks if you'd like. Trying to release the back of the neck and then lengthening the legs by lifting the hips up toward the sky. Softening the knees with your next inhale, sweep the arms out and up, palms together over the head. Exhale, hands to the heart. Take a breath in and out. Let's work with eagle as a balance pose today. So if you would like to use the wall for support, you'll want to be standing just about an inch or so away from the wall so that when you bend your knees, you'll be able to use, your hips will touch the wall and that will support you. So finding our balance on both feet, spine tall, shoulders back and down, belly strong, knees soft. Lift the toes and spread them wide as you lower them down. We'll shift our weight to the left leg, finding a focus spot for our gaze, keeping that left knee slightly bent. We'll bend the right leg, coming up to the toes. You can stay here, or if it feels okay, bringing the arms out to the side, you can lift that right leg. Oh, sorry, wait, bring the toes back down. I totally forgot to have you. Hinge at the hips. There we go. That makes it easier. And bending that left leg a little deeper. Then arms out and crossing over if that feels okay. Foot can be in the air, on the floor, or around the calf. So if you're using the wall, your hips will be sitting back with a little support from the wall. You can stay here, or if you would like to add the eagle arms, you can bring the right over the left, bending at the elbows, hands back to back, or left hand around the right wrist. Elbows up to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, gently squeezing the arms and legs together. Yeah, listening to your body. Gently unwrapping the arm and unwrapping the legs. My body was ready before I realized it. All right. Bending our balance on both feet again. Feet are hip width apart, spine tall, shoulders back and down, belly strong, knees soft. Lift the toes, spread them wide, lower them down, creating that wide base. Shift your weight to your right leg, knee stays slightly bent, coming up to the big toe of the left foot. Hinging at the hips and bending that right knee a little deeper. Arms out to the side for balance. You can stay here. You could lift the leg, crossing over the right foot in the air on the floor or wrapped around the calf. Can stay here, or if it feels okay, adding the arms left over the right this time, bending at the elbows, hands back to back, or right hand around the left wrist. Using that focus spot, elbows up to shoulder height, dropping the shoulders away from the ears, gently squeezing the arms and legs together. Listening to your body. And when you're ready, gently unwrapping the arms and the legs, and we'll shake them out. All right. Let's spread our legs nice and wide on the mat. And then we're going to turn the right foot to point toward the short end of the mat, dropping the left heel back. Hips are going to face the long end of the mat. We'll work with Trikonasana. Inhale the arms out at shoulder height. Exhale, pressing the left hip to the side and reaching the right arm across the room. Leaving your torso where it is, float the hand down to the leg. Left arm can float up toward the sky or stay at the low back. Whatever feels best for your shoulders. Rotating the left shoulder back so the torso is facing the wall. Think about lengthening the left side of the body and softening through the hamstrings of the right leg. Lengthen through the neck. Vision can be straight ahead, down toward the mat, or up toward the sky, depending on how that feels for your neck. Pressing both feet into the floor, rooting down and rising up and lengthening. With your next inhale, press into the feet, lift up tall. And as we exhale, let's bring the forearm to the thigh. Left hand can stay at the low back or drop over the left ear. Pressing the left heel into the mat, breathe through the fingertips if your arm is over the ear. Neck is nice and long. If it feels okay, you could reach that right hand down toward the mat or a block. Just keep the torso facing the wall. And we'll turn to face the mat. Dropping the hand to the mat, we'll sweep it across, press into the feet, lift up tall. And float the hands down. Take a breath in and out. And we'll switch our feet. Left foot points toward the short end of the mat. Right heel drops back. Hips face the long end of the mat. Inhale the arms out at shoulder height. Exhale the right hip out to the side as the left arm reaches across the room. Leaving the torso where it is, drop the left arm toward the leg, right arm up toward the sky or hand at the low back. Rotating the torso to face the wall. So if you feel like your chest is facing the floor, lift up a little higher so that you're really getting that side stretch. Lengthen through the right side of the body. Lengthen through the left hamstrings. And with your next inhale, press into the feet, lift up tall. As you exhale, bend the left leg. Forearm comes to the thigh. Right hand can stay at the low back, or right arm drops over the ear. Lifting the chin away from the chest, rooting through that right heel, lengthening through the side of the body. And if it feels okay, you could reach that left hand down toward the mat or a block, pressing the knee and the elbow against each other to turn the torso to face the wall in front of you. And turning to face the mat, we'll sweep that right hand across the mat, lift up tall, and exhale, floating the hands down. Let's bring both feet to face the long end of the mat. And then let's pull the heels in so that the toes are pointing toward the outer corners, or the top corners of the mat. We'll bring our hands to the crease of the hip. And then we're going to bend our knees out over our toes like we're sitting down on a horse. Chest is nice and tall, shoulders are back and down. You can keep the hands here, bring the hands to the heart, or bend the elbows and wrists and come into the Goddess Stupa pose. Your heels can stay on the mat. You can lift one heel and then the other, or if it feels okay, you can lift both heels. Working on balance, pressing through the balls of the feet. And let's drop the heels down. Bring our hands to face forward, and we'll call in a little bit of the Goddess Kali, which is about destruction and creation. So whichever you need at the moment, you can call that in. And if you want to, you can drag your fingers down and then stick your tongue out and go, Then we'll straighten our arms, shake out those legs a little bit. So sometimes calling in the power of those goddesses when we need them, just that energy helps us to feel that inner strength within us. All right, then we'll bring the legs wide again. Inhale the arms up over the head. Exhale, swan dive, hips out behind us, and floating the hands down underneath the shoulders. Soften the knees. Press the hips up high. Nice long spine. If it feels okay, you can walk the hands over toward the right leg, hands on the floor, block or leg. Turning the torso to face the thigh, lengthening down over the leg just as far as feels okay. Right foot pushes into the mat as right hip lifts up toward the sky. And gently coming back to the center and arms walking across to the left. Hands on the floor, block or leg. Turning the torso to face the thigh, lengthening down over the leg. Knee is slightly bent as you press the heel into the mat and lift the hip up toward the sky. We'll come back to the center. Let's walk the feet closer toward each other, stopping just outside of hip width apart. If you would like to use a block for Malasana squat, place that in the center behind the heels. We'll drop the hips down, hands coming toward the heart. You can keep the hips high, working on a high Malasana. You could drop the hips down to the block or down by the heels. Or you can also come all the way to the mat, walk the feet a little further apart, and open the hips here. Whichever version feels right for you in this moment. Elbows or upper arms into the thighs or knees. Lengthen through the spine. Tailbone reaching down toward the mat. Soften or strengthen around your hips as needed. When you're ready, gently lower the rest of the way down. And we'll meet in butterfly to begin. Baddha Konasana. Lengthening the spine, soles of the feet together. Kind of notice what's happening in your hips. And then think about pushing the feet together and engaging those inner groin muscles. So the knees will lift up a little bit. With your next exhale, release that. Soften out to the sides. And then engage those outer hip muscles. And if it feels okay, see if you can draw the knees down a little bit more. And then if it feels okay, lengthening the spine a little more, shoulders are back and down. You can tilt the pelvis, bringing the torso out over the feet. Just as far as feels okay. And hands on the toes or ankles. Sometimes if I can get my elbows out here, I'll press them against the shins to help lengthen my spine. And then soften through the groin. And with your next inhale, lift up tall. We'll bring the hands to the outside of the knees, bringing the knees in, wrapping our arms around them, dropping the chin, rounding the spine, and taking a couple of breaths. And then we'll come back to a cross-legged position. Lengthening the spine up tall, shoulders are back and down. Reach to the crown of the head. And as you exhale, drop the right ear over the right shoulder, tucking the right shoulder back and down as you breathe into the left side of the neck. If it feels okay, you could bring the left arm behind the low back. And if it feels okay, you could also wrap the right arm around the head, just gently resting the hand on the left ear, not pulling, but allowing a little extra weight to open through the neck. Releasing the right hand and the left hand, we'll inhale back to the center. And then drop the left ear over the left shoulder, tucking the left shoulder back and down, breathing into the right side of the neck. If it feels okay, you could bring that right arm across the low back. And again, if it feels okay, wrapping the left arm around the head and resting gently on the ear. Heart stays lifted even though the head is tilted. Inhale, releasing that left arm and the right arm and bringing the head back to center. With your exhale, turn your chin over your right shoulder. Shoulders are back and down. Heart lifted, hold and breathe. With your next inhaling breath, come back to the center. And as you exhale, turn the chin over the left shoulder. Hold and breathe, shoulders back and down, heart lifted. And with your next inhale, come back to center. Let's drop the chin down toward the chest, keeping the shoulders back and down, releasing the back of the neck a little more. And with your next inhale, lift up tall and let the breath go. Let's bend our knees in front of us, coming to the center of the mat. Gently rounding the spine, dropping the chin, rolling back onto the mat. We'll bend our knees and lift our feet up toward the sky in Viparita Karani. You can rock your hands underneath the hips to support the legs. You could rock a block underneath your hips, or if you'd like to rest the legs on the wall, you're also welcome to do that. Ankles and knees are relaxed, dropping the shoulders back. Breathe into the belly. And we'll gently bend the knees, rock the hands or block out from underneath the hips. Hugging the knees in toward the chest, you can rock from side to side, or you can make small circles with the low back. Depends on what feels right for your body. If you're making circles, you can reverse those. And then bringing the knees together, arms out to the sides. If you'd like one last twist, gently dropping the knees to the right, vision to the left, releasing through the spine. With your next inhale, coming back to the center. And as you exhale, dropping the knees to the left, vision to the right, releasing through the spine. your next inhale, come back to the center. And exhale, lowering the legs down. You can keep the knees bent, walking the feet out to the edges of the mat and rest the knees together. Or if it feels okay to extend your legs, go ahead and do so. And if you'd like a bolster or blanket underneath your knees for support, go ahead and do that. And if it's a little cool where you are, you may want to go ahead and cover up a little just to keep the warmth in your body as we relax. So finding your Shavasana position. If your legs are extended, feet about hip width apart, shoulders tucked back and down, neck is nice and long, arms slightly away from the body with the palms turned up. Relax your forehead, soften your eyes, loosen your jaw. Gently bring your awareness back to the breath. Allow each inhale to fill you with a sense of peace and calm. Allow each exhale to release anything that no longer serves you. Release the muscles from the bones, surrendering them to the earth, feeling its strength and support beneath you. Let the breath bring you back to your heart center, reconnecting with the light and joy that always reside deep within your heart. Let each breath fill your heart with loving kindness for yourself, sending up loving kindness to each and every cell of your body, honoring all of who you are in this moment. Gently begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Stretch in whatever way feels comfortable for you. When you're ready, you can gently bend your knees, roll to your side, and rest there for a moment. And then gently return to a seated position. We'll end with a metta blessing of loving kindness. Please feel free to join in. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings have peace. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature. May all beings be free. The light in me honors the light in you. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. For our world, for our communities, and for ourselves. Thank you all so much for taking time for yourselves and for joining me today.